For this video, I decided to do something a little different. We took the over 70 videos that are on our YouTube channel, looked at the analytics of every single one of those videos, and decided to take about 5 or 6 segments of those videos that you guys liked the most out of all of those videos. We're gonna be talking to you about a few different things. We're gonna start with the overview of Durango. If you're really not familiar with Durango, we're gonna talk to you about the pros and cons of every single area of Durango. Then we're gonna jump to a quick, short segment of an interview that we did a few weeks ago with a local resident talking about the reasons she loves it here, so you can hear somebody else's perspective. We're going to talk about the lack of amenities, the things you might not get that you might be used to in other areas of the country. We're going to talk about what the biking scene is, as we're absolutely on the map for mountain biking and road biking. We're going to talk about Lake Nighthorse, then one of the most coveted areas of Durango, the Animas Valley, which is the north part of Durango, and we're getting into it right now. By the way, guys, my name is John Bird, and I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. And if you've been thinking about moving to Durango or Southwest Colorado, give me a call, text, or email, days, nights, weekends. Would love to hop on a Zoom call with you, go over your criteria, go over what you're looking for, really dial you in to specific areas that maybe you're not aware of. And also more than happy to do some property tours for you. Just did one the other day, and I'm doing one tomorrow for a client to really give them a good understanding of the area, of the topography of the land, what the views are really like, how close it is to other homes, just all kinds of things that you really can't see from just looking online. I'm also going to give them a feel of what the neighborhood is like, what the drive is to the home, and much, much more. So more than happy to do that for you guys as well. Let's dive back into the video. All right, so let's start by kind of giving you an overview of Durango. So we've got in-town Durango, and when I say in-town Durango, that's really city limits. So you've got in-town Durango. South of Durango, you have the mesas, what we call the mesa, and it gets a lot more flat this way. You've got a lot more, the way I describe it to a lot of clients is it feels a little bit more like Arizona or New Mexico, as of course you're heading straight towards the New Mexico border. So a lot of my clients don't like the southern area quite as much because they don't feel like it's quite the same Colorado feel as they think of when they think of a mountain town. So keep that in mind. We'll of course show you footage as I'm talking about it so you can get a good feel for that south area. Some reasons I really do like the southern area is it gets less snow than most areas. It gets a similar amount of snow to in-town Durango, but there are not any real steep driveways compared to a lot of other areas. Then you're going to get a lot more sun in the homes because there's not a ton of trees surrounding the homes like in some other forested areas. Another big plus to a part of the southern area of Durango is you've got the Animas River running right through the southern part all the way down through the border of New Mexico. And so there's some amazing properties, amazing homes, and amazing subdivisions right on the Animas River as well. Again, keep in mind, it's not like you have that kind of forested feel around the river, but you still have an amazing fishery, great fly fishing right there, and just an amazing river running right by your property if you consider living down in that area. Now, a con of this area, negative of this southern area, is a lot of homes and subdivisions are kind of right off of Highway 160, so you might hear some traffic from a lot of these homes. So again, another reason I always want to mention, reach out to me, give me a call, text, email, and I'm more than happy to either show you, give you a property tour, area tour of that area that you're considering, or send you a video that I've already shot and just give you a good understanding of an area that you're specifically looking at if you're not sure if it's too close to a busy street or not. Done that for a lot of my clients recently, and I think that really helps because there's some areas where you're still 5 acres away, you're still 800 yards away from the road, and you're really not going to hear it much, but it just depends. You know, it depends on the wind, depends on the tree coverage between the home and that property. Just a lot of different reasons why it kind of depends. Now, another reason I really like this area is a lot of homes in this area, as you're kind of closer to the highway, you're really close to 3 Springs. So they've got a pizza spot, they've got, you know, home slice pizza, they've got a good taco shop, Taco Boy. Then they also back up to some amazing mountain biking and hiking trails right there as well. So even though you're kind of out of the forest, you're really close to some great hiking and biking. Then let's go west of downtown Durango, west of in-town Durango. As you're going west of in-town, we'll actually start by putting up 2 videos that I shot all about the west area of Durango. So you guys can go look those up later if you're curious about this west area. What I love about this area is several of these neighborhoods are a lot more forested, and then several of these neighborhoods have a lot more acreage lots, like 1 to 3 acres. One of them, Durango Ridge Ranch, has 35 plus acres and some very, very stunning views. There's a lot of homes in here that have absolutely exquisite views. views. There are some that just have bigger acreage, but still have that big open sky, and you still see the amazing stars at night. You see some amazing sunrises and sunsets over here. You're closer to Lake Nighthorse as well. All right, now from there, let's head over to north of downtown Durango. So this is called the Animas Valley, a very, very coveted area. As you're going into the Animas Valley, it's very different than any other part of Durango. So as you're going into this area, it's just very, very green and lush, a lot of cottonwood trees, not as many pine trees, but a lot of cottonwoods, some aspen trees in here, but just very flat overall. And you've got the Animas River running right through the middle of the Animas Valley. Now there's kind of cliff sides on both sides. So you have some homes looking into the valley. You have a lot of homes down on the bottom of the valley. So I had a client the other day, just to give kind of an example of this area, that said they didn't really like this area because it didn't kind of have those grand mountain views. So it's a little different in that it doesn't necessarily have grand mountain views, but it has these beautiful ridges on both sides of the valley. So you've got Missionary Ridge on one side, some really great hiking trails, and really great access to Purgatory Ski Resort, because as you continue up the valley, you're closer to Purgatory Ski Resort, of course. So just want to, again, touch on these areas, not go too much in depth. I've got a lot of videos on all of these different areas I'm talking about, so make sure to go through the YouTube channel, check those out later. Let's head over to the east area now, the east area of downtown Durango. I would say this is probably the second most favorite, if not one of the favorite areas of a lot of my clients. A lot more forested, it just feels a lot more like that mountain area that a lot of people really desire, especially moving away from, say, Texas, Oklahoma, California, these other states that don't have some of this type of environment that we have. So the negative of this area, just going east on Florida Road, is a lot of homes are very tucked in the trees. It's kind of the way that I like to describe it. A lot of forested subdivisions, and with that comes potentially higher insurance costs, higher fire risks, and so you just want to be aware of that. It's always very case by case regarding insurance. I've been doing a lot more research on insurance, so let me know if you have questions on that. Happy to connect you with a great insurance agent as well. But these areas are really cool in that there's so many different diverse subdivisions. There's a subdivision that climbs in elevation, so you are kind of climbing up a road, but then it looks over the Animas Valley from this opposite side, from the east side of Durango. Then you've got a subdivision called Edgemont. There's Edgemont Ranch, Edgemont Highlands, Edgemont Meadows, 10 plus miles of trails. They've got a mile of the Florida River, private fishing access. Then they just have a really nice, nicely done, nicely developed subdivision as a whole. They've also got the Meadow Market, a little market with some amazing food. They'll have game nights, just a really cool place to hang out as well. So I think that touches on all these different areas. You know, south, a lot more dry, a lot flatter. North, very, very green, closer to Purgatory. East, a lot more forested. West, a lot more forested as well, but a little bit different just depending on the area that you go to. All right, now we're gonna roll a clip of an interview of Vanessa Jurgensen. She's a local photographer, she's a wife, she's a mom of 2 girls, 12 and 14 years old, and she's gonna give her perspective of what it's like to live here in Durango, things she likes about it, as well as what it's like to live here with a family. Let's roll that now. What are some of the things you absolutely love about living in Durango? And feel free to address some of your family's favorite things as well.
Yeah. So when we thought about moving to Durango, we moved here. I grew up in a bigger city in Minneapolis, and coming to Durango initially to me felt like a bit of a stretch. Like, wow, this place is a bit remote. We're kind of far from some things, but I have absolutely fallen in love with Durango.
Yeah.
So much because of, I would say, the access to the outdoors. And it's not just the fact that like the outdoors, we're in Colorado and it's somewhere out there. It's not like a day's drive. Like I think you think of living in Denver, you're spending a lot of your time in the car getting to the mountains. Right. Whereas in Durango, like we are right here in the mountain. Almost daily basis, I hike at this trailhead right across the street from my house. And I take time outside and I go biking and we go fly fishing and we go rafting. And I think some of the things that we wanted to create as a family were memories around experiences that we do together that are things that are not based on spending a lot of money or, I don't know, like I think in the city, there's access to concerts and shopping and different things. That is not what Durango has, but what we do have is a simple way of living that really focuses on being outside and enjoying family time together, and then also really building community with the people who live here. So for us, that was the seller for Durango, is like actually engaging in a life that was more simple, purposeful, and living a connection with the outdoors and with our family, where we invested in a smaller community and really put down roots.
So I'm going to start by just kind of doing a brief overview, telling you Durango, Colorado sits here just a little bit across the border from New Mexico. We're about 40 minutes or so across the border from New Mexico. And we've got Farmington is going to be the closest bigger town, roughly about 50 minutes. We'll put up on the screen the distance to downtown Durango from Farmington, but going to say a little bit less than an hour. And then you've got Albuquerque, approximately 3.5 hours away from Durango, as far as really the next two biggest towns from us. Obviously, we've got Grand Junction. They're roughly in that 3.5 to 4 hour range as well. And then you've got Denver, give or take, kind of that 6 hour range. We'll put on the screen the distance to Denver as well. So I want to start by saying next closest bigger towns, really going to be Farmington. It's going to be the closest one at under an hour. So Farmington has a bigger mall, much bigger mall than we do, much bigger box retail stores than we do. They've also got a lot of places like Target. They've got a lot more restaurants, a lot more fast food type restaurants as well. I'll kind of dive into what we have in our mall, which we don't have a whole lot. We've got TJ Maxx, Boot Barn, Ross, Zoomies, Bath & Body Works, Shoe Department, Spirit Halloween. That's just right now, of course. Old Navy, and that's really about it at the mall here. And then we do have 2 movie theaters. We've got a nice downtown, but when you're talking about looking for clothes, you're really going to be looking at a lot more expensive options that are downtown. They're going to have a lot more custom type stuff, a lot more local type stores here that aren't your more big box stores like your Target, Dillard's. We don't have a lot of those types of stores here. And then when we talk about just outdoor stores, we've got a pretty good selection of outdoor type stores because that's really what Durango is focused around. So I'd say we have a pretty good selection of clothes for the outdoors, camping gear, tents, all that kind of stuff. We've got a great store that does rent outdoor camping gear as well. Backcountry Experience is the name of that store. And then let's talk a little bit more about grocery stores. I personally think we have really good options for grocery stores because I'd say Durango is pretty health conscious. So you will have some good health food stores. We've got Nature's Oasis. They are kind of your Whole Foods type store, if you will. Similar store, similar products to Whole Foods. They have a really nice juice bar, sandwich bar where you can go up, order a sandwich, order a great smoothie. They also have a really good selection of like grass-fed beef, steaks, a lot of beef that's local, meats that are local. They've got a really good section of things like pastries, brownies, breads that are fresh. Then they've got a really nice seafood section as well. They also have a liquor store attached to them with some really good selections as well. Really nice little area to sit out and eat. They're kind of right over the hill from the river, and the river trail, actually the Animas River Trail, kind of connects to them. So you could be going for a walk, pop up off the river trail and grab a smoothie, just keep going for your walk. So really nice location. They're a little bit south of downtown Durango. And then we've got Natural Grocers. Natural Grocers right in town Durango, right across from City Market. Really convenient location. Myself, my family really likes to shop there. They've got a great selection again, a lot of different produce, a lot of great organic selections, a lot of great options for eggs, cage-free eggs, organic. They've got a lot of great selections for beef as well. Maybe not as many selections, as much of a selection as Nature's Oasis has, but really both great options as far as health food. And then you're going to have City Market. City Market's going to be more like your Albertsons, your Smith's type store, and they're still a very popular grocery store. Got 2 options, 2 locations for City Market. I've heard the rumor that they're putting the City Market in near 3 Springs, which is going east from town, about 10 minutes or so east from town. And then we've also got an Albertsons, just as you're coming, right as you're getting into town, into that kind of downtown Durango area. So in my opinion, we've got some great selections for grocery stores. We don't have a Target. We don't have a Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, your closest, is going to be down in Albuquerque, about 3.5 hours away. And then your closest Target is going to be over in Farmington, about 50 minutes or so away. Now, of course, I've still got to mention some of the things we do have. I'll list off a few things that we do have, some really cool local amenities. We just got an awesome rock climbing gym that we have here in Durango. We've also got a really nice community center. The community center has good sized basketball courts. Above the basketball courts, they have a track that you can walk about 130 yards or so that you can walk around, especially in the winter when it's cold. If you like to get up early, great spot to get some exercise in. We've got a good gym. I wouldn't say it's an amazing gym, but they have kind of everything you need is the way that I would explain it. They've got several power racks, several benches, several incline benches, a lot of different machines as well. And then they have a studio for yoga and Zumba and different classes. They've also got a lot of ellipticals, bikes. They've got a lot of treadmills. Then they have a really nice swimming pool, This pool has diving boards. It's got a rope for kids to jump in the water. It's got a high dive, a lower dive diving board. They have swim meets that are there, and then they have a whole separate pool for kids that are younger in your, 0 or 1 to like 10, 12 years old kind of range. And then they also have a little outdoor play area for in the summer, kind of a little splash pad area as well. Then regarding their location, they're located really nicely right off of the Animas River Trail. So if you end up living in town or you just want to be able to get your workout in and go for a run on the Animas River Trail, that's something I really like to do. I work out with a good buddy there 3 or 4 days a week, and then I'll go for a run on the Animas River Trail. Or right outside of the rec center is a nice grass field, grass park, I should say, with some swing set. Don't know if there's swing sets there, but there's a playground right there as well. And so we'll either bring the kids there, do a workout, or while my wife is walking on the Animas River Trail, she'll bring the kids there. They can play for a little while, and then she'll walk back to the car. We'll also do a workout in that park right there, or that little field right there as well. So a lot of awesome options. It's not just kind of a gym where you park and go in and nothing else to do outside. A lot of great options outside as well. We've got some other great gym options as well, but want to point out that one specifically. We've got some great CrossFit gyms, some great kind of gyms that are a little bit of both, that are MMA, but also have CrossFit type stuff. Also have a Ninja Warrior course inside the gym. There's some great gyms like that, actually one specifically. Then we've also got pickleball courts. Durango just put in a bunch of pickleball courts right off of the Animas River Trail as well. So that's a really cool amenity that was added. We've got a good amount of tennis courts throughout, just kind of the downtown Durango area. Just looking down at my notes, don't want to forget anything. We've got some great restaurants as well. I will say Durango does a really good job in the food scene, if you will, the restaurant scene. We just ate at a great restaurant, a couple great restaurants the other day for my birthday, and so I really recommend checking out the downtown area for restaurants. I will say, if I discuss certain restaurants on a video, they're not always going to be there necessarily. If you see this video in 2 years from now, definitely check what's new. There's definitely new restaurants kind of turning over and coming into town, so definitely worth checking that out. The restaurant that we ate at for my birthday was actually called Eolus. Highly recommend them. They're definitely higher end restaurant, more fine dining, but they're really, really good. And definitely let me know if you guys have specific types of food that you like, and I'm happy to refer you to a great restaurant. One place I always recommend, or I always like taking my clients, is 11th Street Station. Just went there with some great clients of mine about 30 minutes ago before shooting this video. We had an ahi poke bowl as well as a Mexican bowl. Really healthy, great options in one of those food trucks right there. Then I can't talk about the amenities without bringing up fly fishing. In my opinion, without going into too much detail, we are the best location to live across the entire state for fly fishing. We've got great access to the San Juan River. We've got the Animas River running right through us. We've got a bunch of great alpine lakes. We've also got the Dolores River up the road from us a little bit. Got just tons of great fisheries throughout here. A lot of private ponds, a lot of neighborhoods and subdivisions that have private lakes or the river running through them. Let me know if you guys would really like to live on water or near water, or if fly fishing is important to you. We'll put my number up on the screen. Make sure to let me know if that's something that's important to you as well. Then last year I had a client move here that is really, really good at jiu-jitsu, and they were asking me what the jiu-jitsu gym is like here, and I actually go to jiu-jitsu as well and told them it's really, really awesome. I can't recommend it enough. The coaches there, or I should say professors there, are really, really good, really care about you. I would say they're impressed and surprised with how much they really just care and want to make sure they're working with you on the stuff that you're really trying to work on. So definitely worth checking the Durango Martial Arts out if you're curious about jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, any kind of martial arts. They've also got a little gym in there as well, power rack and weights. And so definitely worth checking them out if you're curious about that, or if you do jiu-jitsu or kickboxing. All right, the next con of living in Durango, or thing that you really need to know, is the harsh winters and the types of winters that we get here. So I want to start by in town Durango. It's going to get about 67 inches of snow. It's not going to be insane. Like, you might get a snow day where you get 6 to 8 inches of snow, and they do a really good job of plowing the streets. So I don't think overall you're going to be too disappointed with somewhere in town Durango, or within that kind of 10-minute radius of in town Durango. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about what the biking scene is like here. It is absolutely stunning place to mountain bike, road bike, fat tire bike, and much, much more. Let's roll that clip now. So I'm not just going to tell you that we've got a bunch of amazing trails, which we do. We'll throw up on the screen a map with all the trails throughout Durango. But what I'm going to specifically discuss right now is more the fact that, and just give you the example, that I had a client mentioning to me that he just got an e-bike, brand new e-bike. I think it was, I don't know, $2,000 to $3,000. And he was really excited because the home that he was buying had trails right out the back door. It was actually in the Three Springs area east of downtown Durango. And he was really excited to take his e-bike out there. And unfortunately, I had to break the news to him that most trails in and around Durango, you can't ride certain e-bikes on. And we'll actually throw some of those rules up here on the screen right now. But just overall, and we'll throw up the website. That's probably a lot better thing to put up on the screen is the website, so you guys can look into that yourself. There are still a lot of good trails that you can take e-bikes on, but there are a good majority in town Durango that you really can't take e-bikes on. And keep in mind, the trail that I'm on right now, the Animas River Trail, you absolutely can have e-bikes on. And so wanted to start with that tip first, making sure that you're aware that there are a good handful that you can't have them on, and then jump into the fact that you can have e-bikes on the Animas River Trail. So the next tip, and just thing I want you guys to know, is something that a lot of people do that live in town Durango, is they get an e-bike, and if you have kids, they'll get an e-bike where you have seats on it and even an area for groceries, and they'll take their bike onto the river trail and head over to the grocery store, the library, the park with their kids. They can do the grocery shopping there and then go back home. And so even if you live up in Hillcrest where you're climbing in elevation a little bit from downtown, you can still get up there with your e-bike. So looking into e-bikes, the other thing is recommended, but the other thing I was going to say is definitely worth either coming out here or wherever you live, just renting an e-bike for even a full day and maybe another couple days, just to really get a good feel for it, really see what you like first, because they're a big investment. They can be a lot more expensive than a regular mountain bike. So keep that in mind. Definitely be aware as you're thinking about just either if you really like to live in town Durango, I think that's really going to help you out a lot, or just if you like to mountain bike and are thinking you want a little bit of that assistance with that e-bike, that should help you as well. Feel free to reach out to me as well if you have any questions about specific trails. If you're more intermediate, more advanced, more beginner, I'm happy to point you to specific trails that myself and my family really like and enjoy. And especially if you even have kids, happy to discuss trails where your kids will most likely like those trails a lot. I'll throw out a few right now actually. There's a really good trail in the Three Springs area where probably the most beginner trail over there. We'll put that actually up on the screen right now. The other one is of course the Animas River Trail, and this river trail is 8.9 miles going from Oxbow up north all the way to Home Depot down south. We'll put a picture of that trail up on the screen right now as well. Now the other thing I want to mention about biking is I want to recommend you guys try out or purchase a fat tire bike. And fat tire biking is really awesome in the winter, use on the snow. We've also got some really good bike races if you're more competitive and want to race fat tire bikes out this way as well. All right, now I want to tell you all about our favorite lake in Durango, Colorado. That's Lake Nighthorse. This is really close, really convenient to in-town Durango. We'll put up on the screen as I talk about this area, the distance from the West Avenues, which is basically right in town Durango. And then from there, after we talk about the lake, we're gonna roll a clip all about the Animas Valley. Absolutely my favorite area of Durango as well. So I'm really excited to share this clip with you. Then you're about 15 minutes to Lake Nighthorse. Really great fishing there, but they've got a beach. They've got an awesome area that you can swim. They've got buoys. You can swim about a mile out as far as how far out those buoys go. They've got a no wake time in the morning, so you're not getting tossed around by the boats. They've got lifeguards. Like I mentioned, a beach. They've got a really cool kind of inflatable play area out there that they set up in the summer. So again, only 15 minutes away from this area. And everyone wants to know how close you are to skiing. So you're about 30 minutes from Purgatory Ski Resort right in this area. So basically right from in town Durango, about 30 minutes. Then a few other ski resorts. You've got Telluride, which is about 2 hours away from us right here in downtown Durango as well. Now the next area I want to tell you about is County Road 250 in the Animas Valley north of downtown Durango. Now this area spans from about 9 minutes north of downtown Durango all the way up to 18 minutes north of downtown Durango at this spot where we're at right now, which is at Baker's Bridge, which is again about 18 minutes away from downtown Durango. So this entire area is within 20 minutes driving distance of downtown, and it's really flat, really usable land for the most part, except for the opposite side of County Road 250, the east side of County Road 250. So that side does get much steeper, but for the most part, where the homes sit, it's still fairly flat land for about an acre or two, depending on the lot. Now, most of the lots on County Road 250 range from about 5 to 10 acres, most of them being a little bit closer to 5 acres, with some going from 20 to 50 acres. However, most of these are also pretty flat and usable land with some really, really nice views with the ridges on both sides of you. So you've got Missionary Ridge on the east side, the Red Crimson Cliffs on the west side. And so you don't get those really beautiful sunsets that you're going to get south of town or in many other areas of Durango. But it is one con of this area, but there are so many other pros that really outweigh that one con. Now, keep in mind, compared to some other areas, while we're talking about the area and that lack of sun or lack of sky, compared to some other areas like going east of town towards Lemon Reservoir, Vallecito Reservoir, going out towards Edgemont, that area, in my opinion, that area is much more kind of tucked in, much less sky than you're going to get in the Animas Valley. So you still are going to get much more sun in the Animas Valley. You just still do have those ridges on either side of you. Now, I was out looking at a property just the other day that is closer to that 30-acre range, and I was looking at the views, I was looking at just all the things this property has to offer, and we're going to tell you some of those things. So first of all, a lot of these homes, the majority of these homes do have irrigation rights. They have some really amazing water rights, and a lot of these homes do back up and have access to the Animas River. So with that in mind, if you like paddleboarding, you can put in your paddleboard from a lot of these properties, take it down to Dalton Ranch, either take out at Dalton Ranch or do the really long paddleboard ride and take out at Oxbow, which is a much longer ride. So to Dalton Ranch, you're looking at between 30 minutes to maybe a little bit over an hour of a paddleboard ride. Most of this section is kind of a lazy river section or fairly slow moving water. So you don't have to be concerned about really having great skills in the water. Obviously you want to know how to swim, but it's not really scary water for the most part. Then going back to how I mentioned it, that this area is very, very coveted. I recently had a client who bought a property on County Road 250, actually on the east side of County Road 250, and him, just like some of my other clients, absolutely insisted on being on County Road 250. It was very important for him to, one, be in the Animas Valley, but two, be on County Road 250, and we're going to tell you some of those reasons. All right, so the first reason he really wanted to be there was the location. Again, he's only about 15 minutes from downtown Durango. Second reason was the usable land. But beyond that was he was very, very close. He actually backs up to an amazing hiking trail. So there's Stevens Creek and Halfland Creek, two different trails that are pretty close to each other right off of County Road 250 that climb up Missionary Ridge. We'll actually put on the screen some information about those trails, and we'll show you some footage of those trails. I absolutely love running and hiking those trails. My wife, my kids love running and hiking those trails as well. And within about 5 to 10 minutes of hiking those trails, you have beautiful views of the Animas Valley, looking down at the river, looking over at those Crimson Cliffs as well. Even in the winter, I love going and snowshoeing those trails. So to continue talking about trails, you've got access to those two amazing trails. Then across the valley, you've got some other trails that climb up and look over the valley as well. Then beyond that, going up County Road 201, that road, after driving for about 3 miles, about 15 minutes, leads to a campground, as well as Jones Creek and Hermosa Creek Trail. Those trails, at least Hermosa Creek Trail, goes for about 35 plus miles, connects all the way over to Purgatory Ski Resort, and that trail is a nice intermediate, fun, flowy mountain bike or hiking trail, and a ton of national forest that has access to as well. So some great access to trails. Then the other reason that my client really wanted to live on County Road 250 was he absolutely loves to ski. And so he's got great access to Purgatory Ski Resort. We'll put on the screen right now the access or the distance from Baker's Bridge, the northern point, all the way up to Purgatory Ski Resort, or the distance from there to Purgatory. Because you're really in that range, kind of in that 20-minute bubble of Purgatory, depending on where you live off of County Road 250 or in the Animas Valley. So as you're watching this, and if you realize prices aren't something that you don't really like the prices in here, you want to be in a lower price point, all of this information, a lot of this information is really going to help you understand more just about living in the Animas Valley in general, as you will find lower price points once you get on the other side of the valley on County Road 203, as well as some of the other small neighborhoods off of Highway 550 and County Road 203. Guys, if you've been thinking about moving to Durango, give me a call, text, or email. I'd love to help you with all of your real estate needs and make it an extremely smooth and informative process. Looking forward to connecting with you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.